Warning. May start talking about Aston Villa.
Yes, guys, Aston Villa 2, Young Boys 1. What an interesting game. Another win in the Europa League, another 3 points in our quest to Europa League glory. Yeah, it was a game of two halves, really, wasn't it? We fully dominated that first half, if I'm honest with you. It was clear to see the golfing class between ourselves and them. And then in the second half, I guess it got a bit disjointed after the substitutions were made. The substitutes didn't really come on and add much to the game. Got a little bit lazy. Our lack of clinical nature in the final third throughout the game nearly caused us to end up losing the advantage that we had. You know, there was a goal that was disallowed for offside, and then there was a goal that came that was another close offside call, but you know, we weren't able to hold on to the clean sheet. There was lots of positives, especially in the first half. It was controlled. It was a solid display. You know, you moved the ball about quite quickly. I think those playing in higher up the pitch, you know, they were moving the ball with a level of accuracy that, you know, we can only commend. However, this was the theme of the game, to be fair, that in the final third, we just lacked that clinical nature. Overall, and I think that even dissipated further and further in the second half as well, when Watkins came on and Buendia and them, man, they didn't really add to the game. But you know, what can I do other than be pleased? It's another home win. Villa Park is 1000% truly a fortress for us. Some major standout performances from the likes of Marlon and Rogers. Marlon with 2 goals, 2 brilliant finishes, a header, and then a nice finish as well after a through ball from Rogers. But also Tielemans. I believe that Yuri Tielemans, his class has been on show, and I think even him coming off the pitch, you see how pivotal he is to our squad. I was meant to post yesterday, but I didn't post. And one of the things that I talk about is when Yuri Tielemans is on the pitch in that double pivot, it doesn't work as a double pivot. He likes to play in those half gaps, in those half spaces, so it doesn't move like a double pivot. And whereas when he's not in the team, the likes of Onana and Kamara, and even Barkley in some respects as well, they kind of sit in that double pivot and don't really move and don't create levels to kind of sit in the half spaces, which in turn kind of nullifies the dynamism that we should have. But it was very clear to see that, you know, the spine of Tielemans and Rogers in that middle of our attack from the deep and further forward is so clear how important it is for our functioning, and having Marlon making the runs that he does, and his ability to finish, which I believe is a bit more of a reliable finisher at the moment than Ollie Watkins. So I guess there's going to be a decision that has to be made by Unai in regards to Sunday, in regards to this weekend against Wolves. I would like to see them both play, to be honest. I think our best performances, or we've seen the best out of them both when they've both been on the pitch at the same time. But maybe Unai doesn't want to do that because of where you might lose stuff. But yeah, man, it was a good performance overall tonight. I think that, you know, against better opposition, we probably would have rued the number of chances that we had. But it was good. You know, it wasn't a first choice team. You know, a lot of the players that don't get much game time got to play. You know, Sancho had a full 90 minutes, and you know, we saw a little bit of the good things that he comes with. You know, I do think he's a little bit tentative on the ball sometimes, especially in front of goal. But you saw him take a few shots today. I think there's part of him that wants to play that intricate ball, pass around the corner game sometimes when that's not warranted. But I think with more game time, more time with the guys, playing with the guys that he's playing with, you know, that will probably get coached out of him, number one. And then number two, he'll probably start having some more production in the areas that he needs to put in the areas that he needs production. So something that we probably need to think about is, you know, our substitutes need to be able to bring more to the game. You know, we lost momentum with those substitutions, which I didn't expect with the kinds of people that were coming on. We can't switch off against better teams. You know, we would have rued all those chances, and also would have rued the lackadaisical defensive structure that we had at the end. You know, a brilliant finish from the young boys striker for their goal. But again, we've got to make sure that we're not losing sight of things. But yeah, brilliant. It's good to have 3 points. We look forward to the weekend now against Wolves. And a crucial week next week in the Premier League as well, with Brighton midweek and Arsenal on the weekend. So I think things are looking good. Anyone that comes to Villa Park know that they're in for a fight, because it's not an easy place to come. But yeah, we need to make sure that our main players are there. Tielemans is key. Oh my gosh, that man is key to what we do. Him and Morgan Rogers, you know, just starting to tick. So yeah. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts about the game. If you're at Villa Park, I'm very interested to hear about what was going on. They didn't really show it on TV with the fans from Young Boys, which was despicable, if I'm honest, from what they were describing. But let me know. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Look out for my player rankings in the next hour or so. Look out for my debrief, which I am going to do tomorrow. Or Saturday. No, in fact, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And we'll go from there. Listen, it's a good time to be a Villa fan, man. Let's keep it cracking. As always, this has been Villa in Noir. And as always, up the Villa. Peace.